in for a big game. I'm guaranteeing at least 15 targets. I think he's going to put up 200 plus yards, but I'm going to call the 300 and 2 scores from Devontae Adams.
Tyreek Hill, to me, has been one of the most underrated fantasy players.
Tyreek Hill is hands down the best athlete in the NFL right now.
Some people go with other receivers.
Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. I think he's better than both of them.
Hunt is finally over. I think Green Bay finally found their franchise quarterback, and I think it comes in the name of Jordan Love.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Guys on Sports. It is a Tuesday, September 26th, getting ready for week 4. Last week we told you what we learned from week 3. We gave you our weekly waiver wires, and this week we're going to do the same thing. We're going to be throwing out some predictions at the end of the show as well. Stay tuned for that. How was week 3 for everybody?
Week 3 was pretty good. I had a good time.
Yeah.
Good time. Yeah, what happened?
Did you lose to me and then Phil back-to-back weeks? For the record.
No.
For the record.
No.
Yeah, you did lose to me.
Well, I'm a different league, so they don't count. They're
dang
different
it.
universes.
Okay.
Dang
So,
it.
I mean, yeah. This is what I think.
Oh, wow.
I think you guys nailed your picks last Sunday morning on TikTok.
We did pretty well.
Yeah, and I think our listeners, they should go. They should watch us because you guys killed it.
I agree. Where were you?
Yeah, I was.
He was in Cabo.
Don't wink at me.
I was
either.
at-
Don't wink at
I
me
was
on
at Saint-
camera.
I was
He was
I was in St. John.
Scary.
The great St.
St.
John's
John's
River.
St. John?
Yeah, it was a
No.
beautiful island.
St. John's River.
Oh.
Central
That's
Florida.
what Mark had.
He was
listen
in
to this.
Sanford. He was in Sanford, Florida.
I sent Mark a picture of the beach, and he asked me if I was St. John's River, and I'm like,
I think, hey,
this guy's a hillbilly.
I'll tell you what, though. Week 3 was great. I mean, the Eagles won. The Giants, the Commanders, the Cowboys, they all lost in pretty good
Browns
fashions.
won.
Browns
Looked good.
did win. I
Yeah.
went 2-1 in my leagues. We're starting off good so far this
so
NFL
all
season.
of our NFL teams.
Every single one of them
Yeah,
won in some fashion.
yeah.
Some are getting closer to Marvin Harrison. Some are getting closer to the
but
playoffs.
that is winning, though.
Yeah.
Right?
It's winning. I mean, we have our pick and we have Carolina's pick, so I'm almost certain that we're going 1-2 in the draft next year. So we're winning the Caleb Williams and the Marvin Harry Jr. sweepstakes.
Marvin Harry.
Marvin Harry.
Well,
do you, as a Bears fan, do you feel like is this coaching? Is this what do you think it is?
No, so I had this conversation today. It's honestly, there's so many different facets that are wrong right now that you can't just pick one, right? So it'd be easy to blame Justin Fields, and it would, because we're seeing a lot from him that we did with Mitch Trubisky. Justin Fields to me doesn't feel like a backup quarterback, but he sure as shit is playing like one.
Yeah, he
but
is.
on the defensive side of the ball, we had all this money to spend, right? We had this huge cap. They did not spend it correctly, and they didn't come anywhere close. I think it was a 2-year plan because they didn't come anywhere close to spending the money that they should have, right? So our front four gets no push. And when they do, they probably have to lead the league in the most missed tackles for loss out of anybody because they'll have people wrapped up in the backfield, and then before you know it, it's still a 2 to 3 yard gain. Then you get to the linebacker level. You know, they're having the linebackers are being asked to do way too much. They have to cover, run, and then drop back and pass. And against teams that are very adept at the play action, like Philadelphia is, and teams like that, you know, it's tough. And then our secondary is decimated. Our secondary, every other play, one of our secondary contributors is laying on the ground, fucking crying that they don't want to play in Chicago anymore. And it's getting to be like super frustrating. And then you pair that with an offense that's apparently the plays seem like they're being called by like a defensive coordinator's toddler's daughter. Like
it seems like the play calling from New England last year.
It's so ridiculous. Everything is like immediate around the line of scrimmage. There's nothing really being looked at downfield. There's zero protection. Like there is no protection for Fields whatsoever. But then they're also, you know, they're putting shackles around his ankles, and even though he's not getting protected, they're like, stand in there and throw the ball. No, get the fuck out of there and go pick up a couple of yards with your legs. You didn't go to Ohio State to learn how to throw the ball, buddy. You start running. So it's frustrating.
Dang.
Yeah.
I kind of knew I started. I didn't mean to start that.
We're getting the show off right.
I was actually commiserating with Mark because
Commiserating.
I know what it feels like when your team is sucking that bad.
Yeah.
It's just an awful feeling. Like, you leave that game and the season's looking rough and you just feel like crap. Doesn't matter if your fantasy team won, because our teams are near and dear to our hearts. Right?
And let me tell you, and the word, I didn't have any unrealistic expectations. We weren't going to beat Kansas City, but we didn't have to get throttled by them either. We were down 31-0 or 34-0 in halftime. And all I'm thinking to myself is like, God damn it, man. Don't embarrass yourself like the goddamn Broncos did and let Kansas City hang a 73 or 75 spot up on you and break the NFL record. I mean, at least let the Broncos have this week, and luckily...
and they didn't look that bad.
Luckily, I think Taylor Swift said, Travis, pull back a little bit, tell your buddy there with the curly fucking mohawk to maybe stop throwing you so many goddamn balls and take it easy on this crippled team.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, should we get any... Good? Do you want to get any...
I don't know, man. This is cathartic.
You want to get any Taylor Swift stuff out the way? It's
I tell you what,
beat by big media, so...
My daughters were very interested in the NFL this week.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Sending me memes and sending me videos of what was going on, and it was, it was fun to see them as interested in the NFL as they've ever been.
Just wait till Jalen Hurts starts talking like Kim Kardashian or something.
Yeah. No, it's
takes
not
over.
It's not going to be the same. My daughters were running into the living room. Did you see Taylor Swift yet? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, can you rewind it? And I'm like, I'm trying to watch a live game. And they're like, but it's 17-0 Dad. They're losing. I'm like, all right, fair point. I'll rewind it so you can see Taylor Swift.
That's a sad Sunday.
Did you see that
so bad
that somebody in Taylor's camp provided her with a cheat sheet?
And it was fake.
I
heard it was fake. You're saying it's fake.
I want it so bad to not be fake.
What's the cheat sheet?
It was like telling them
rules
like
of football.
Yeah, and kind of like what the Chiefs do after a first down. Here's what you say and that kind of stuff. So
she's a sleeper agent. She's trying to find out all the secrets to the Chiefs and bring it back to the Birds.
Sure. Did she do that last year in the Super Bowl?
No, she didn't.
Yeah, she didn't. So.
I think the funniest meme I saw regarding all of it, though, was a woman had posted on Twitter. She said, please tell me that Travis and Taylor are official before I go and learn all the rules of football for no good reason.
Yeah.
Which is, I thought, was fantastic.
I mean, she's, dated most of the men in the music industry, so now she has to switch. It's a lot of movies, too, so now she has to go to sports.
She's like homie hopping, but she's industry hopping?
Yeah.
Wow, that's shameful, Rocky, of you.
Yeah.
The Swifties are going to burn your house down. They can do it. They're capable.
Including the two that live in my house.
Yeah. All right, well, we can kick it to ourselves before we talk about TikTok Take, and you're going to hear a few words from our partners, Mint Mobile.
Hey, if you ever thought, why my wireless bill so high, let me tell you about Mint Mobile. We're partnering with for today's video. Now with an extra special offer for our channel, if you sign up before July 14th using our link, you can get their unlimited plan, which is normally $30 a month for just $15 a month. That's 50% savings off their already super low price.
You might already know Mint Mobile if you've seen those funny ads from Ryan Reynolds, who is also an owner.
Hey there, it's Ryan Reynolds, owner of Mint Mobile.
But let me quickly tell you how awesome their service is.
Why should you pay more than you have to for access to the same network?
All Mint Mobile plans include unlimited nationwide talk and text, plus lightning fast 5G and free mobile hotspot.
Switching to Mint is super easy thanks to their digital eSIM cards that you can sign up and activate immediately right on your phone from the comfort of your own home.
Worried your phone isn't compatible? Mint's got you. If your phone isn't eSIM compatible, Mint will ship you a new SIM card for free.
Use our link to get started or click the link in our description. Scan our QR code. It helps out our channel.
All right, TikTok Take. We have two, and they're from different people, but they have the same first name. Whoa, crazy. Wow. The first one is from Kyle with no last name. Kyle with no last name was responding to my mini rant about Miles Sanders, and I don't know why I have blind faith in the guy. And he said, no, you're right. Frank Reich is just that bad as an OC with his prehistoric play calling.
I saw
So
you
I
guys
got
kind of got in a
justification.
fight. Yeah.
I got justification.
Yeah.
And he had a touchdown.
Don't you like
So
how
the Miles Sanders, we're still there. We're still on the train.
I like how his TikTok takes for us are ripping us new assholes, but his are like, look at
People
how they
agreeing with
sided
him.
with
Yeah.
me.
I mean, I don't have
Oh,
I
they
don't have a
said
lot
I'm
of
vindicated.
I
They
don't
said
have a lot of slander. Well, I don't know.
do know about football.
Hey, I get
You have plenty
Plenty of slander.
I get W's and fire emojis, and wow, King really did that.
Plenty of slander. I just noticed they're hidden a lot of times.
Well, the other one isn't slander, but it's not about any of the four of us. It's about one of our guests, friends of the show, Chad Hill, and about his Justin Fields take before the season started. He said that he doesn't see with Fields. He's 5-20 as a starter at the time, blah, 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 blah. And then it's resurfacing, and Kyle Kanzulek said Chad Hill W. We got a chat. We got a W.
Hill W, unfortunately.
Yeah. So Chicago has a very, very
Oh God, oh no.
they've got a very small window here now going into next week. And if they don't build off of this, then Justin Fields is done in Chicago. And that's the fact that at the end of the game, he took that hard hit, he went down, and he got up and he was kind of wobbly. DJ Moore did the right thing and he went over there and he got him and he said, look, don't get back in that huddle. You don't need to go out there and prove yourself to all your naysayers. You don't need to go out there. We're getting hammered. Just because they're talking shit, don't go in there and
How
ruin.
do you know he said all this?
Because, dude,
They're
all right,
they're on the same headset.
We're eye to eye here.
Okay.
You know, but the sentiment was there, and this is how I feel is the only way that it gets better. So just shut the fuck up and let me have it. So he goes.
Talking, all right.
So he goes. You know, Justin, you don't have to go in there and prove yourself.
Justin.
People are going to talk shit. All right. So you don't have to go in there when we're getting blown out 42-3 on the 7-yard line and try to punch this ball in on 4th down. Get out of the goddamn game. Go get yourself right. You'll live to fight another day. So Justin either has to come out and beat. I don't even know who the hell we're. I stopped looking at their goddamn schedule because I'm so disappointed. The Broncos. You either. Oh my God! If you lose to Denver, I swear to God, Justin. Anyway, you got to either come out and beat Denver. You either got to come out and beat Denver, or you have to disappear because this is
they're
your
an
chance.
underdog at home.
To the Broncos, I just lost by 50.
DJ Moore just did the right thing. I think, you know, as a consummate professional in this league, I really appreciate what DJ Moore did here. You know, I don't think he was doing it to get him out of the game and get Badgley in there for a chance of pulling it out. You know, so I would like to think that he was doing it for, you know, for Justin's good.
You can't rant later.
Huh?
You can't rant later.
You've used your rants for 2
your
weeks.
rant is done.
Yeah.
What do you, I don't even know what you're talking
You
about.
said you were going to rant later about that game.
No, not about that game.
Oh, okay.
A different game.
Wait, you got another rant. This is cathartic, though. It's cathartic for you.
It's
It's good.
ridiculous.
Lock in
Well-
Broncos.
Yeah, lock that in. Money line. I'll take anything. I'll take a teaser too for it. Before we get to, well, we just finished
Philly
TikTok
actually
take.
plays a real team.
I mean, okay. Philadelphia, don't get me started because this was supposed to be the hard schedule that we have this year. Last year was easy schedule.
So what are we getting into?
Thank you for getting me back on track. Before we get into what did we learn, we want to talk about one of our other partners, Thrive Fantasy. Hey, if you do any daily fantasy sports, any prop betting, anything like that, and you like making money, you can do so through Thrive Fantasy. Click the link in our bio, scan the QR code online. If you follow us on socials, it's there in our bio there too. First time users, they get up to $250 matched. $250 on their first deposit with our link or promo code GUYS. That's capital GUYS. Yes. Follow us. You get new promos like free fantasy squares, prop bet slashes. Every week, really. The ones that they have going on right now is Jared Goff 0.5 passing yards. Thursday Night Football. Add that to a parlay. Patrick Mahomes 0.5 passing yards. Sunday Night Football. Add that to a parlay. And we got DK Metcalf, Phil's league loser.
What?
DK Metcalf, 0.5 reception yards. Add that to a parlay for Monday Night Football. And they also have a few guaranteed contests. They have a $15,000 one on Thursday, $50,000 on Sunday, and $5K on Sunday, but it's a touchdown only contest. So join that. It supports us. We would appreciate it a lot, and we'll be betting with you. All right, Rocky, what did you learn?
Yeah, and I know that I go first because I'm on this side.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Age, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Age and beauty. Wow. That's a total package.
Well,
Would you guys start calling me TP?
toilet paper.
Yeah.
That's all I think about.
And be the total package.
Take it away, TP.
So, anyways, and I'm trying to relate this a little bit to fantasy, but here's one thing we learned. There is not a skilled player on the Miami Dolphins that you can't start.
Yeah.
I mean, they go at least 2 wide receivers deep. I think the tight end's looking decent. 2 running backs, maybe 3. And as long as Tua keeps his head and stays healthy, he's a hot quarterback. So I didn't want to give it. Yeah, well, he's hot both male and female version.
Tia's girlfriend material.
I don't like to admit this. I don't think that Tia. Wow,
Let it out, Rob.
I don't think Tua is quite as good as he's looked, but I think anybody in this offense is a start. So I think that's what we learned.
Yeah, even
River Croc.
all the. I was gonna say even the running, like every running back you'd say, because I'm worried about Achane not doing what he did, or Mostert not doing what he's been doing.
I think that of the 3 running backs that we're seeing a lot of, it's going to kind of narrow down to 2. And I think, is it Devin, right? Devon.
Achane. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Achane. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's proven something, and I think he's going to start getting mixed in. So, I think it's Raheem and him that are going to kind of end up fleshing out to be the 1 and 2.
So kind of like you can start Waddle and Hill. You're saying both running backs. Okay.
Yeah, and even like if you look at and I'm blanking on the 3rd receiver. There may even be games where
you're talking about
River Crockett.
Yeah.
Crockett, David Crockett.
I think there could even be games where the 3rd receiver is. Yeah. I mean, they look great, and we can mock the Broncos. They look terrible. They definitely laid over, but their defense isn't the worst defense in the league.
Yeah, that's true. Like I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
The only thing that worries me there is that we know that Mostert knows McDaniel's offense, as does Jeff Wilson, but Jeff Wilson comes back. So will Jeff Wilson eat into some of A-Chain's production? I don't know, but A-Chain proved enough to obviously get the ball going forward. The guy's electric.
Sounds like A-Train from The Boys. That's all I can think about.
I like that A-Train. Yeah,
he runs like A-Train too. Let me tell you.
Look at that. We just coined a new name.
Boom.
All right, Mark. Well, what did you learn?
What did I learn? I learned that after decades of searching in Green Bay, the hunt is finally over. I think Green Bay finally found their franchise quarterback. And I think it comes in the name of Jordan Love. He's doing stuff in Green Bay that no other quarterback in Green Bay's done. And that's in his first full season as a starter. He's gone 2-1. He's got a QBR of 70 right now. He's got 7 touchdowns to 1 interception. He came out, and I already fact-checked everything, brother. Go right ahead. How dares you? He comes out, and obviously the Super Bowl front runner at the beginning of the year, Chicago, he comes out and he dismantles them so badly that Chicago goes on a huge slide, and right now we're playing for the 1st and 2nd overall picks next year. Jordan was just playing out of his mind. 17-0 in the 4th quarter against New Orleans. Engineers a masterful comeback. The only blemish on his record was that 1-point defeat to Atlanta last year, where Young Hoo Koo karate kicked like an 85-yard field goal to win the game. So I mean,
Maybe that's why our sponsors want to check us out.
Jordan Love is the guy. It's Green Bay. Hats off, man. You finally found your guy.
Yeah. You know what this is all going back to? Mark is upset because Rodgers actually texted Love and thanked him for keeping the
ownership in check.
Yeah. And I think this is Mark. Mark's got another Green Bay quarterback to fear.
You'll be what, pushing 60 by the time Love retires?
No, maybe. No, I don't think he'll be around another 16 years.
So you think
20 years in the league, that's a lot.
You think you'll have grandkids by the next time the Bears are in a Super Bowl?
Don't even think about it.
That's a tough thought.
That was the message to my daughters.
All right, well, Phil, what did you learn?
Oh, man, what did I learn? I think what we all learned, I learned specifically watching this game, Arizona is not a pushover, number one. And number two, I think they got a few fantasy viable guys that I don't know that we were really keyed in on coming into the season. Marquise Brown, back-to-back weeks with 17 fantasy points.
You talked about him a little bit.
A little bit. But, I thought he would produce no matter what. But they look like a function more than a functional offense. they kind of look a little explosive. Josh,
pew.
yeah,
Pew, pew, pew.
pew, pew, pew. Joshua Dobbs, 27 fantasy points, 18 fantasy points. He looks good. He looks like he has some poise to him. He's making plays with his feet. James Conner looks like James Conner from a couple years ago again. He's putting up consistent numbers. I mean, I don't want to go chapter and verse with the numbers here, but the guys are producing. And I'd even be interested in Rondell Moore, too, who's seen some
Zach
target
Ertz
share.
has had a decent game here,
I
too.
I'll leave that to him.
Man.
But point being, not only I don't think they're a pushover anymore, I think they may have something to say in who win. Not that they'll win that division, but they will have.
They could be a spoiler.
They could be a spoiler later in the season. I think they're going to be a lot more competitive than we thought. That being said, I think that means you could fire up some of these guys. Obviously, we were firing up Brown, but I think Dobbs is a nice pickup. I think, like I said, Moore is a guy you could pick up and feel good about, and James Conner might be closer to a top 15 back than a 15 to 30.
Yeah, I'd agree with all that. Good for the Browns. I almost said Browns because Dobbs is on the Browns, but good for Dobbs, man.
Yeah.
Beating the Cowboys like that.
No, the great thing about Dobbs is he showed flashes. I felt like last year when he was picked up by Tennessee, the Browns were very high on him. If it had not been DTR looking so good in the preseason, they would have kept him as a number 2 and been happy. So it is kind of good to see,
Him get a chance. Yeah.
And he's a smart kid. He was
aerospace
engineer. Yeah.
All right, I wonder what's going to happen when little
Kyler
Murray comes.
I don't even think they fire him up.
I think they'll probably cut Rondell and put Kyler in that position, about the same size. So
You're probably right.
So I've got like 3 quick things, and then I want you to tell me if I'm wrong on one of them, Phil. First thing is that I think Sam Laporte is a lineup lock. I think you start him no matter what. You either got him off waivers, he's in your dynasty league, and I think you start him until proven wrong. Second thing is that I think Mattinson's bad, and we were a little wrong on that. I don't think he's going to be doing what we thought he was going to be doing. I mean, Cam Akers is now in town. Once he gets on the field, let's see what happens there.
Correction. We weren't all.
I'm talking about us.
Okay.
I'm not feeling good about Mattinson. I had him as a top 12 back, and I don't think so anymore.
No, you should just highlight that
Yeah.
we.
yeah,
Sorry. Mark and I.
This is the week though that you think. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the week that he proved that he is a real back.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Absolutely.
Cam Akers is
He
going
had
to be
like
playing.
7 yards per touch.
What was the defense they were
past
playing?
game?
They're not playing the Chargers every week.
But it doesn't matter.
It does matter.
The
Don't
fact
say
that-
it doesn't matter. It
The
does
fact,
matter.
the fact is that he's getting no help from the offensive line. Is
I
what
just-
the problem is.
Well, they're not changing offensive line
producing
either.
back. No, he's not producing fantasy wise
That's
right
what I'm
now.
saying. Yeah.
But he's still. You got to give him time.
Okay.
He'll be all right.
So you're saying hold. I'm saying panic. We can clarify. I'm panicking on
Yeah, I
Alexander
think you
Mattison.
trade him right now after the decent game.
That's what I've learned, yeah. And then the thing that I want you to correct me on if I'm wrong is
me or him?
you.
Me?
There are 2 players that I was an advocate for in drafts that I think are drop candidates now, and in fact I am dropping them in real time. I'm dropping Chigo Quanquo, unfortunately. I'm off the Chigo train. I just think the Titans are the Titans. And then I'm dropping Daniel Jones. I don't think it's going to get any better.
Well, I mean,
You tell me if it's
I
worth
think
keeping him up. I'm ready to
Chig,
drop.
I'm still, I don't know. We were just talking about Chig today, right?
Yeah.
So I'm still in the middle on Chig. The problem is I don't know if it's him, if it's the offense, but like the same thing with the line in Minnesota. I don't know that any of that's changing. Like I didn't start him anywhere this week.
Me
So
neither.
there's that.
he did drop some passes in the Browns game, and they were right there. There were passes that should have been caught. So I don't know if he's either surprised that Tannehill got a pass off and he wasn't expecting it, or if he's maybe suffering from insecurity. I'm not sure, but he looked like he did not look
next
like
level thing right there.
he did not look like the Chig from last year. at the end
Well,
of last year.
nobody in that game. I mean, Derrick Henry was held to 2 fantasy points too. I mean, that was just a horrific all around game.
Yeah, but he
for
hasn't
Tennessee.
looked great all year, though. That's the crazy thing. And I think I was high on Chig.
3
You were high.
games. 3
Yeah.
games, but yeah.
Yeah, but
I think this
you're
comes
looking
down-
for flashes.
That's true, but I think it comes down to like roster size, where you're at exactly. Like
Yeah.
the Daniel Jones thing is it a 1 QB league? Then
So yeah,
probably drop him.
I'm
If
talking
2
about
QB
your
league, super flex, hold them. If you have the roster spot, still hold them because I think the next couple of weeks probably not going to get better because the line's banged up. But I think if you have the roster spot later in the season, I still think he's going to produce.
I'm in a normie league that is 12 people redraft fantasy, and that's where I don't have a roster spot for Chig and I don't have a roster spot for Daniel Jones. So I think in 90% of your leagues, I think they're droppable.
Yeah, I think if you have the spot, I mean, if you don't have the space to keep him on your roster, then yes.
I think the crazy thing to me is there is no team that I'm more surprised at than the Giants. To me, I thought that the moves they made were great. I felt like this offense was going to click at least at a pace, but it seems like it just hasn't found its way yet. So I don't know. I'm really surprised by the Giants this year.
I could not even push back. I could explain a little bit, but I don't know if we want to spend 5 minutes doing that.
I mean, I know what you're going to say, and I do agree with probably a lot of your points, but I still, I just thought they were going to really look good.
I thought they were going to look good, too. I think the Dallas game was a complete, I don't know what that was.
Sometimes that stays in your head for a little bit.
Maybe, but the Arizona game, they scored 30 points.
Yeah, and they
even though it was in
look
the
good in the
second half.
Yeah.
And the 49ers was a game that was 3 days later. You're missing Barkley, Thomas.
And you're playing the best
and
team
you're
in the
playing
league.
the best, probably the best defensive team in the league. It's true.
You said the best team.
I would say the 49ers are now the best team in the league.
Like the 49ers game to me is a wash. And the Dallas game is kind of a wash, but the Dallas game shouldn't have happened. But the 49ers game, I seen coming a mile away.
Yeah.
10-point dogs, I was taking the 49ers in that game because I just don't see how you go 3 days without your left tackle, and go on the road and win a game against that team with that coaching staff. It's just, who'd they run roughshod over week 1? Tomlin and the Steelers?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep. And the Steelers have won 2 in a row and looked decent in both games.
I think the Seahawks games will tell us a lot. If you're holding any of these guys, I mean, besides Barkley, to kind of see where you're really at with them, I think that'll tell a lot. 12 days off at home.
Well, speaking of the greatest teams in the league, the second thing that I learned,
I can't wait for where
it's
this
not
is
the
going.
greatest team in the league, but we're starting to flirt with maybe one of the greatest defenses in the league, and that would be if you have a wide receiver or a running back playing against the Cleveland Browns defense. Right now, you sit until they prove it.
Yeah.
Until they prove otherwise. This is a stat line: 136 total yards.
That's crazy.
And no touchdowns, and that's with Henry, Mixon, and Harris. That's combined.
Yeah.
Combined rushing and receiving yardage in 3 games. Their defensive line, especially the DTs, are not allowing running backs to get loose at all. And their cornerbacks are better than I thought they would be. And so right now, until we see somebody do it different, I think you got to hold your fantasy players or at least proceed with caution. And if you look back at some of the wide receivers, they basically have held some decent wide receivers in check too. And that includes George Pickens. It includes Hopkins, which I know he's lost a step, but he still got open. And I'm blanking on their first game.
You're right, though. I mean,
Cincinnati Bengals, where they kept Chase and Boyd.
They did. They definitely played 3 juggernauts on offense: Tannehill, Pickett, and an injured Joe Burrow. So I get your point there.
Listen, Pickett made the best-looking female quarterbacks.
They are definitely the 86 Bears defense there, buddy. Yeah, so.
Well,
Damn you, Jim Schwartz, for coming back to the NFL and not going back to the Eagles.
He has instilled some fire in this defense. So I would just say proceed with caution when you're starting.
You guys didn't learn that DeAndre Swift is him and that he's the back in Philly? You guys didn't learn that?
There was some more proof of that for sure.
Yeah. But again, Philly's going to ride the hot hand, as they always have in the past.
Yeah, it's going to be Kenny Gainwell
If
this week.
Gainwell comes out and, if that was Gainwell that broke one of the first 2 runs, it would have been Gainwell the majority of the game.
And
if Rashad Penny gets his chance and he breaks a couple of runs.
We're saving Rashad Penny for the end of the season. He's going to be a healthy scratch until week 14.
Yeah, he's another big ass to help push Jalen Hurts forward 2 yards every 4th down. Yeah, we get it.
I think anybody can run behind that line.
Hey, if you can't
can't
beat us, join us. There are other teams that tried.
That's how you do things. I get that.
There are other teams that tried doing the tush push and couldn't do it.
Yeah. Anyways, that's what I learned. That's my second thing.
Hey, Texans may win the South? ?
CJ looks like the best rookie quarterback so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I'm with you there. I'm surprised by
Yeah.
CJ Stroud there. I mean,
Me too.
I didn't think that Bryce Young was going to be the best out of all the rookie quarterbacks, but I wasn't necessarily thinking Stroud would be.
Yeah, and I don't think we've seen enough from Richardson because of the concussion. So
Yeah.
he was looking pretty good too.
Well, that's a lot to see. I'll tell you that. In the first 3 weeks, already with a concussion, that worries me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sucks. The way that they use him too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Stroud is putting up numbers. I mean, if you need a fantasy quarterback, like if you have to go and you have to pivot off of Daniel Jones,
Don't you take my fucking waiver wire
Then-
before we
Yeah,
get to this segment. I
we're
swear
not
to
on
God.
waiver wires
Yeah,
yet.
come on now.
But you brought this up anyway, so
Yeah,
this
well,
is your fault.
I was ready to segue.
Seriously, it's all your fault.
Well, I didn't say a word. Well, did we? What happened just now?
What?
Weren't we supposed to all do our?
Second one, yeah.
I thought you guys did. Oh, I'm sorry.
Rocky
Er,
just went. He's first.
I was
I
trying
apologize.
to
I
like, yeah,
apologize.
I was trying to merge it into it.
My bad,
My bad, boys.
Fucking
My
brain
bad.
fart,
My bad,
huh?
boys. My bad.
Yeah.
It'll
got
be.
your second thing you
Listen.
learned. Are you feeling? So I feel a little hurt.
I didn't
A little
know.
disrespected there.
Right,
I feel
yeah.
so.
I
I feel so too. At first, I thought Rocky was just like,
I'm sorry.
like
Wait.
you know.
I heard weekly waiver and I pressed the button. I don't
Like,
know.
I turned the lights on in this place, so I'm going to have my second
no,
go
I
around
was
here.
just trying to
That's
get
what I
us
thought.
back.
I thought he was
I'm sorry.
posturing.
I'm sorry.
I was just trying to get us back on track, because I thought we were
Can
spiraling
you-
a little
So
bit.
the second thing that I learned is hats off to Philly. Philly definitely looks like a team this year that is poised to lose in the NFC Championship. So that is the second thing that I learned, because honestly, I think
You
San
wish.
Fran. I think San Fran has the complete all-around package here. I mean, they were without their number one wide receiver, Brandon Ayuk, this week, and still put up some numbers on the
was
Giants. That defense looks stout. Debo got his just desserts in the absence of Ayuk. You have McCaffrey. You have a solid second running back in Elijah Mitchell.
Kittle.
You have George Kittle. This team is, provided that this team doesn't go in the NFC Championship game with their QB4, Philly don't stand a chance. San Fran's coming out of the NFC.
I mean,
Okay.
I wouldn't go that far, but I will say that, especially on defense, my gosh, man, I don't see a weakness on that defense. It's a scary.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's to me, it's a
crazy.
crazy good defense that they were
Crazy good.
to amass that many, that much talent.
Let's see until they play a real team.
Yeah.
Steelers week 1. Rams, who just got held to 16 points.
See, I try to be a friend, and
The
then you still
Giants.
throwing dark. But you're an Eagles fan.
I am.
But you guys just choke. That's what you do.
Oh, whoa! On what? Not.
Cock. I mean, you choke every time you're in a big game.
Are you talking
That's
about
your
the Super
history.
Bowl? Are you talking about the Super Bowl?
The NFC Championship.
That
Like
was
5 years in a row. You won one. Good job, guy.
old man.
One Super Bowl. Anyway, so what
did
I
you
learned
learn?
is your old team, the Jets. I think it's red alert time. I think everybody was kind of waiting to see could they still be viable. But I'm talking fantasy wise. I think all these, even the great Garrett Wilson, I think is in trouble if they don't make a move. I think they have to make a move for a quarterback
They signed
because
someone.
who'd they sign?
Get ready for this. If he clears medical examinations, Trevor Simeon is suiting
Oh,
up
gosh.
for the
Okay,
New
no.
York Jets.
So they need to make a
That's a
move,
mistake.
right? Back to what I was saying. That's not a move.
No, I'm telling you, that's the
I
move
believe
they've
you.
done.
That's not the move, though.
They need to
not
make
the
a
move.
move, and it's an ex-Eagle quarterback that they
No,
need to do.
there's another move.
They need to get him off the couch.
There's another move. They have to make another move. They're both on the hot seat. I think their GM's on the hot seat. The coach is on the hot seat. This roster, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is going to be there next year. I don't know that this coaching staff stays around. And if you got Jets players, then I don't care if it's Breece Hall. I don't care if it's Dalvin Cook, Garrett Wilson, Alan Lazard, up and down the roster. I'd be scared shitless to start these guys right now. If Zach Wilson, that was the barometer for me. I was waiting to see how did they perform at home against the Patriots, who are a so-so team right now. Even though it's Bill Belichick, there's not a crazy amount of talent out on the field. And they could not. He had one good drive. I think the rest of his drives he threw for under 70 yards out of 13 drives. He had one drive. It was like 79 yards, 7 completions. The rest of the drives, he did absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Ended the game with a flurry of nothing
Yeah.
and a safety.
Yeah.
I just don't know how you fire up guy, try to trade him. And it sucks because you're not going to get, unless you just got an idiot that just knows the name, you're not going to get the value for him. But I'd be scared to start him. He'd be losing you games right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't even start him. Not even in a super flex league. I mean, you've got to have a deeper bench to even start, a running back 3 or a wide receiver 4 that's going to score you more points than Zach Wilson. And I think you hit the nail on the head there too. And I mean, I'm still trying to wrap my brain around that information. Like Robert Salah comes out and says, I will abandon my post if we sign Colin Kaepernick. But then they go and they sign Trevor Siemian. Like, I mean, you're waving the white flag.
And for all the TikTokers, if this gets cut, if you're thinking Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall, teams are going to be teeing up on the run game. They're going to shadow Garrett Wilson with a second guy, and guess what? They're not counting on Zach Wilson or even Trevor Siemian getting into their second and third options. So I just think it's basically a pit of misery.
Well, and you know what?
Sounds like Chicago.
The coach seems it's almost like a pissing contest, and he's not coming off his decision, because in that post-game interview, he came off like an ass. I mean, the reporters, their job is to ask what the hell's up.
He's always kind of come off like that, though.
And I mean,
Salah?
Salah.
It was fair to ask.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Because Zach looks terrible, and it's more than one game that we.
Let me tell you, the last 3 drives of that game, I don't know if you guys watched. I watched that.
I did too.
All right. And he had 2 chances to drive his team to win the game. He didn't. He went 4 and out. He took a safety.
And safety was
Then he went
stupid
4 and out, where he basically didn't throw the ball 3 times and then threw a 2-yard out on a 4th and 10.
Yeah.
I just think every team that doesn't have 2 wins should just go for Caleb Williams. Like at this point. Like I think.
Fuck up, man.
I mean,
This is week 3.
hey, breaking news: Jets have a head coach that won't pan out and a quarterback they drafted
I agree
high
with
that
that,
won't
but
pan
not
out.
every team that's 1 and 2. Right?
I'm not talking about you.
You said every team.
I guess I
that's
didn't
1
mean
and 2.
I didn't mean every team then.
You better
Some
pump your brakes.
teams, most teams. Damn, you got real triggered. I wasn't even talking about the
super-
Giants.
What would you think if he said every team that's 1 and 2?
We just talked
He
about
did.
the
That's
Jets.
what he said. He said every team that doesn't have 2 wins.
That's what you said.
All right,
I understand with the bad blood between the Giants and the Eagles.
Most teams
Yeah.
that are looking bad that can't recover. I guess not named the Giants because I didn't mean them.
Yeah.
The Bears though are in the conversation.
But
right.
I mean, don't you think that Nick Foles is somebody you dust off before?
No.
I would. He's
No.
36. I don't care.
He
Sitting on the couch.
couldn't
he's
move
better-
when he was 30.
I don't care. He's better than
trade for Kirk
Zach
Cousins.
Wilson.
Trade for Zach Wilson. That's what you do. You're already all in.
Trade for Kirk Cousins
Trade for Kirk.
You're not.
or Kyler Murray.
You are already all in.
You'd be better off bringing
You
Matt
don't
Ryan
think
out
Kirk
of the
Cousins
booth.
is an instant up? Like,
No, I don't think Minnesota's trading him.
oh, I think they are.
I mean, they're now 0-3.
They're on the last
Statistically, you're
year
not
of his
making the
contract.
playoffs.
I mean, if they can get Kirk Cousins, I get that. But I'm saying if they can't make a trade, who's left?
What's Cam
and
doing?
You tell me that Trevor's better than Nick Foles? No
Big
way.
Dick Nick.
No way.
I don't know.
Andrew Luck.
Bring in Philip Rivers. Bring in
Blake Bortles.
Man, he looked bad.
I don't know. I'm
Matt
just
Ryan.
like the Jets, the Vikings. I mean, the Bears. Like there are teams that. I mean, what better future than to try and get the first? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, so what did you learn?
Oh, I learned that big wide receiver games happen very frequently in the year 2023. I mean, you can trade for a home run hitter and then it could pay dividends and even win you a Sunday. You're looking at like multiple players. Keenan Allen had one.
I had a similar
AJ Brown's
thought.
had one.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase, Jay Jettis had a few already.
Yep.
I mean, there's going to be a wide receiver every week. I mean, Tyreek Hill has already had one.
Tank Dell, Adam Thielen, guys.
I was
that you're not
going
even
to say.
expecting.
So
Like people are getting targeted like crazy. They're
part
being
of my thought process.
singled.
Let me just cut you off. I
Let me interrupt your thought.
I had a look because it coincides with a thought I had. I was thinking to maybe say I think wide receiver, as far as fantasy, is quickly becoming the least valuable position.
Yeah.
Because I think you could kind of just pick an apple up off the ground and get 10 to 12 points.
I could even see the other side of that coin being invest in a wide receiver early, because if it's something that's going to be happening frequently with multiple different players, try and hone in on a player it's going to happen to a lot, like your Tyreek Hills, like your Devontae Adams.
Tyreek Hill to me has been one of the most underrated fantasy players in the
Yeah,
last few years.
he's been the
Every
bottom
year
of the first.
I get him. Nobody wants him. I think it's in your league. I have him like 3 years in a row. $70. Guys are going like double the price.
Yeah. Hill was a guy that we told you to draft over like Cooper Kupp and
Yeah, we
and
did.
even Jamar Chase, and I remember that
Yeah.
episode.
He just gets kind of
the best argument is you always hear, well, he's not the greatest route runner. Well, guess what? You can't cover speed. I don't give a shit if he doesn't run the best routes. The dude runs solid routes. And so that touchdown, that first touchdown,
I think he's
that
the
he
best
scored,
wide receiver in the league.
the dude was open by 25
Jefferson,
yards. By 25 yards, the guy had the angle on the sideline, and he still outran him. Like,
I think
Tyreek
if-
Hill is hands down the best athlete in the NFL right now.
I think if Tyreek Hill was an inch or
By
two
far.
taller, we would there'd be no question. I think that's
I
the
think-
only.
There's no question
I
now.
don't think he
Well, I
needs
think
it
that's
though.
what. No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
But I think that's why some people go with other
Justin
receivers.
Jefferson, Jamar Chase. I think he's better than both of them.
He's 100% better.
He's done it for longer. I think he's more explosive.
Yeah.
He takes things. I love both of those guys, and I'm waiting for you to push back here. But I think as far as effect on a game, effect on a defense, he gets the ball. He takes it to the house.
Well, and the thing
Almost
that
every time he has open field.
and he's with the right coach who never takes his foot off the gas. Like
That's true.
I've never seen it. Like it's the closest thing to college football that
That's
we
true.
have seen. This is the third
It
highest
looks like they're
scoring
running gun a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And I've never seen it because normally in the NFL you kind of call your dogs off, you put your backup quarterback.
Yeah.
None of that. No, it's crazy. So
Well, the argument can start with the stats because Jefferson's done. He's had more accolades in his early career compared to Tyreek Hill, but also people will say, talk about. I mean, you don't really see wide receivers put games on their backs anymore, but Jefferson. I mean, last year Minnesota won how many one-score games? 11 or something like that.
That's fair.
That's
yeah,
Jefferson.
but they also don't have like a
And he's got-
counterpart receiver like Waddle. Like
Well,
Thielen
yeah.
was good, but he wasn't that
Yeah, but
good.
Jefferson's on a harder. He's in a harder environment too. Tyreek Hill's had Mahomes and Andy Reid, and he now has Tua and Mike McDaniels.
But this, but that. I mean, I get what you're saying, but
Yeah.
those are all like.
I just think Jefferson can do more on the field, and he's
don't
also
agree with that
I
at
don't
all.
agree with
he's
that.
been he's been consistent at doing it too.
Who's been more consistent though?
Oh, what are you talking about?
Hill has been more consistent.
Tyreek Hill has
I
been
mean, there's
by far more consistent.
There are some games where it's not as frequent anymore because it's pretty apparent you need to get the ball in Hill's hands. But like there are times in the past where he's been like a wishy-washy fantasy player.
So let me ask you this:
You're reaching a little
it's
bit.
all right, say it's 4th and 13. The game depends on a play, right? You're in your own zone, probably a little bit too far for Hail Mary. You're obviously throwing a screen here. You throwing at the Tyreek or you throwing at the Jay Jettas?
Well, I'm pretty sure that 4th and 13 happened Minnesota versus Indy, and they threw it a little bit deep to Jefferson on like a sluggo route or something like that, and he caught the ball with like one hand.
No, I'm 100% getting the ball into the hands of Tyreek Hill because I think he's the one who's going to make that play.
Yeah, but notice how
happen.
you got to like orchestrate a screen. You can
No,
just
I
throw
mean,
the ball to Jefferson.
You didn't have
you
to.
don't have to
You don't have
orchestrate
to.
it.
What
For
I'm
what?
saying
You
is
just
that
you just said for a 4th and 13, like games on the line, you're setting up a screen for Tyreek Hill.
Which would be like the most dramatic of situations to get a player in.
Oh, I don't.
Going down, I'm still going to Tyreek down the field too. I think that's obvious
I think
because he's
contested-
blowing away the coverage.
Yeah, but contested catches, I think Jefferson is better.
That's true, but
Which in
Tyreek
that
Hill doesn't
situation
have
you
contested catches because he's too fast and he's always open.
yeah.
No, I think that there's something, and I think
I
that's why.
I
agree,
get where
but
he's
you
going.
don't have
Like
contested
Jefferson's-
catches with him.
For me, Jefferson's more well-rounded, and he's a little bit more consistent with his career.
No.
He's been in the league, 3 years now?
Hell no.
This is year 4.
Tell me a blip on his career of not being the best at his position.
Puka Nacua, who is already breaking all the records for 3 games in.
Well, yeah,
there you go.
if-
There's
if-
your blip.
If Puka does if Puka does this for 3 years, like how Jefferson's been just not 1A, maybe 1B in almost every statistical category, then sure.
But I mean,
So
Jefferson.
are you saying his career had blips in it?
Tyreek Hill?
Yeah.
I'm saying there are times where he would have like a target or two, or a 3 catches, 5 targets. Like there, I just remember early
I
on
mean,
when Tyreek Hill
you're-
got drafted, you're going through ebbs and flows of his performance.
I don't remember that. Do you remember that? I don't remember that.
I mean, pull up like year 1 of Tyreek Hill or year
I
2
get-
of Tyreek
I get
Hill.
where
Year
he's going
one,
here,
Tyreek
but
Hill was
here's-
61 receptions, 600 yards. So that's what you're talking about, his rookie year?
Pull up Jefferson's rookie year.
But here's the
Why
blip.
we just compare rookie years?
And not only that,
Pull up year 2. Pull up year 2.
75, 1,100, 7 touchdowns. 87, 1,500, 12
You're-
touchdowns.
Did
The
Jefferson
argument-
win Offensive
you-
Player of the Year?
I mean,
or
you're
something
not.
like
You're
that?
also not.
Yeah,
stupid.
but it's only his 3rd year.
Do you only have 3 years to go off of, and he's done nothing but be the best at
I
his
have
position?
Here's the
7 years
thing.
with Hill to go off of.
Yeah.
And some of them are.
But you're not stupid.
They're not. No, they're not. You're
not
talking
like-
about the rookie year.
You're not a stupid guy. You know that the blip is that Jefferson has never had a contestant to take over wide receiver 1 shares, whereas Hill obviously has. And
Well,
it
he
came
had
in the form of a
Travis
tight end one.
Well,
Travis
and-
Kelce
and even Waddle.
was the dog that ate. And now you have another bona fide wide receiver 1 playing your wide receiver 2 in Waddle. That's taking even more away from Tyreek, which is showing even how more impactful Tyreek is.
The other side of that coin is that defenses are targeting or trying to make sure the wide receiver 1, that's the wide receiver 2 on the team, isn't doing what Tyreek Hill does.
I think the only time that, like, to me, because I think they're both great receivers. I think we're splitting hairs. I think
so
the
too.
only time that I would choose blatantly 100% of the time choose Jefferson over Hill would be in a Hail Mary pass where somebody's got to use their body to maybe outmuscle and get the pass. Otherwise, I think route in and route, out, like I think Hill, his speed is just it's deadly.
Yeah. I mean, they're two different
Speed
types
kills.
of receivers, so it's hard to
Yeah.
compare the two. But I just think
They're very different. You're right.
Jefferson's done nothing but show me that he's elite, and he's, I mean, that's the topic for me.
I do think it might be that Jefferson has more longevity, and the reason is speed dissipates really quickly, whereas
possible, yeah.
a big body, Jefferson's not winning only on his speed.
Yeah. He's winning in other categories because I think he's an all-around better receiver.
I think to prove you wrong, Rocky, I think we have to get on the street to Just Love Coffee and get our friend Mr. Chris Johnson to come out and run a 40 in the back parking
I
lot.
think he sold it.
Yeah, I think he did.
Oh, did he? Damn
Hey,
it.
plug for Just Love Coffee though.
I mean, I don't think speed dissipates that much. I bet you that guy still runs a sub 4.5
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
at 50 years old.
Cool.
Speed ain't going nowhere.
All right, so we're going to waivers. huh?
Waiver wire picker.
That sexy guy. Come on, baby. Must have beat me so
I
hard.
need you this week. It's your time.
That's not loud enough, man.
Break.
Thank you.
Phil really likes this.
It's pretty damn good. I'd say.
Earlier, you have to when I clicked it by accident and looked like a doofus on air, you have to put on the thing
Put it
and
on
then
and then
take it off. Yeah.
Okay.
Record scratch maybe.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right,
So,
weekly
Rocky.
waivers.
Yeah. I'm going to go first.
Hey, fuck you. So Rocky.
Okay. I'm going to go first, and I am going to say that if you're in need of a quarterback, even if it's just a fill-in, you have a quarterback that's injured, I think you could do a lot worse than Jameis Winston. I think he's going to be the starter this week. He's only rostered in 2% of the leagues right now. He played in 3 games last year, and in all of those games, he averaged at least 34 attempts.
Hey.
And about 18 fantasy points per game. What I like the best about the situation that Jameis finds himself in is he may have 3 of the best receivers in the NFL. We know that Olave's fantastic. Michael Thomas has rebounded.
Michael Thomas looks good.
Yeah, he's that possession guy that you don't know why. He's not the fastest, but he finds a way to get open, and he catches everything near him. And then the rookie...
Shaheed Rashid.
Man, does he look good or what? So I love the fact that he's there, and if you're in deep or super flex leagues looking for a quarterback, I think you do a lot worse.
Yeah.
I think this is year 2 for Shaheed though.
Is it year 2?
Yeah, year 2 because he was a burner last year too, but he's definitely panning out this year for sure.
Yeah. One of the coolest names.
And I mean, one of the coolest sound bites of the
It
year so
reminds me
far
of
too.
Rasan Salam.
Yeah, I love Salam. Oh, he's so good. One of the
Why
one
are
of
you
the,
laughing at that?
Who is the
He was Colorado Buffalo turned Chicago Bear, Rashawn Salam.
who is the guy that married the wife from the Cosbys?
Sanaa Wait, no, from the Cosbys. What guy?
He was a wide receiver in the NFL. He was an announcer for years.
I don't know.
It'll
Chris
come to me.
Collinsworth.
No.
It'll come to me in a moment.
Yeah, let it come to you.
Yeah.
One of the best sound bites is just Derek Carr simply on the sideline. It says Rashid run on that play,
Oh, yeah, I've
on that
seen
play
that,
last
yeah.
week. It was just fantastic for when he hit him for that
is
long drive.
It is his second season.
Nice, good call.
Yeah, I know.
All right, who's your waiver ad?
All right, so what I'm going to do is, Rocky highlighted the quarterback. I'm going to shoot a couple of names out here strictly for running back depth. Running back seems to be oft injured already this early season. So a couple of guys that you might just want to stash that could potentially work themselves into larger timeshares if their number ones go down. One is in Kansas City. CEH looks to possibly have redeemed himself with Andy Reid. He doesn't seem to be in the doghouse as deep as he was buried last year. They are definitely trying to work him in. They're giving him his fair opportunity running the ball. And in a couple of passing situations, CEH has been on the field. So for pure depth going into the end of the season, because around week 4 is where you want to start looking towards the end of the season, making sure that you have that depth getting into playoff time. CEH is one. And my other guy that I want to highlight is in Dallas, Rico Dowdle.
Oh, you're doing both at once.
Yeah, because it's off of the same plane. So it's for running back depth.
How dare you even ask?
I'm just making sure.
Rico Dowdle, he's probably not owned in very many leagues, but he does look very electric when he has the ball in his hands. Tony Pollard, one injury, away from Dowdle being probably the lead back in Dallas. Just somebody to think about rostering while you can very early on, and you won't have to pay a ton in fab.
That's a price. Wow. Sorry. I apologize for...
Bill, that was Ahmad Rashad.
Ahmad Rashad.
Put a sparkle on there. This is... Yeah. This is a bad performance for me on the board today.
Hey, we all have them.
This is my 4 interception game.
Sometimes you can't.
It's my Peterman. It's my Nathan Peterman game.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence game.
Yeah. I've learned that Trevor Lawrence is trusting or testing my faith. And I ride with the prince.
Are you done? Okay, my turn. All right, so I'm going to reiterate a guy that I highlighted as a sleeper when we did our running back recap. If you want to get some nuggets from that, go back in the archive, check that episode out. But our running back recap and our forecasting and our deep sleeper, mine was Tajay Spears. And the reason I like Tajay Spears because he looked electric in the preseason. We've been kind of waiting on the downfall of Derrick Henry and various other factors. So, obviously not a great game for either one of them against that Browns defense that is looking pretty good against the run. But I do think this is a nice time to grab Tajay Spears with the same thought process as he was explaining, because I do think, number one, I know that he had the most snaps in that backfield this week. He had the most routes run out of any back in the backfield. I do know he kind of makes things happen when he gets the ball, and I think as we progress towards the end of the season, I think he's going to see more and more time. Henry's going to be 30 by the end of the season. There's only 2 other running backs, I think, that have scored more than 250 points after the age of 29, Adrian Peterson and Matt Forte. That's and kudos, because I held on to Matt Forte for like 3 years in Dynasty towards the end of his career.
Rare air.
It is rare air, and Spears is a great pickup because I do think in that offense there's a lot of rushing volume, and I think is the clear pass-catching back as well.
I think if you are in the quarterback dilemma that I am currently in, you drop whoever you're debating on dropping and you pick up CJ Stroud, who is a player that we talked about and almost segued to 20 minutes ago. He's been doing nothing but the right thing for a rookie quarterback. He's getting a lot of pass attempts. He's almost like hitting records on pass attempts, or at least I think they're 62 or 64% of their plays are passing. So it's a good volume for him, and Tank Dell and Nico Collins are only fantasy relevant because of him. So I would pick up CJ Stroud, and he could even be startable in some weeks depending on how your quarterback one does.
Yeah, what's really interesting is he is doing everything that the forecasters said Bryce Young would do.
True.
He's working through all of his progressions, staying calm in the pocket, running when he has to, but not looking to run just as a first take. He's been surprising, I think. And in one league that I'm in, he's actually on my bench, unfortunately, a couple times, been the leading scorer out of my quarterbacks.
Oh, wow.
What was the Wonderlic test? That's what CJ Stroud failed, that everyone was saying he's like dumb as rocks and can't throw an NFL football or something like that.
I think what it comes down to is if you know you're going top 5, and he did, how much do you care about those tests? I mean,
You think he Christmas treated it?
No, I think
No,
it's a weird test.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We should do the Wonderlic test.
We should do the Wonderlic.
Yeah.
I'd probably have the best score.
I think that there's
or maybe you.
some bias
Arrogance
there.
will kill you, young Padawan.
Yeah.
Not always. Arrogance could help you too. Whose turn is it?
I think it's going back to me and
Okay.
my second choice. And there's a lot that I like to choose from.
You underestimate my power.
But I'm going to go with the guy that I called out, and people called me stupid. People on this panel called me stupid.
I call you stupid all the
They
time.
actually asked, who was he? And that's Jake Ferguson.
That
I
was
like
good.
that.
Good
Keep it
timing.
up. Keep it up. You did
Trying
it.
to redeem myself.
That was
You
good.
did it.
I
Yeah.
threw 4 picks and I just threw the
Yeah,
touchdown.
you did it.
Trevor
Jake
Lawrence?
Ferguson. He is right now the number 10 tight end in the league. He's number 2 on the Cowboys in targets.
Ooh.
He
It's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, seems to be. Is being highlighted in the red zone. And I know the Cowboys laid an egg last week, but I don't think that's going to be an every week occurrence. And
They did
like
play
I
the
said,
Cardinals. That's a pretty good team.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying they're a good team, but I'm saying that every team's going to have a
Yeah.
lay an egg. But Jake Ferguson is somebody you could do worse of. Right now, he's the number 10 tight end in the league. And if anything, his volume has been increasing as he's running more routes.
Yeah.
He's been running about 48 to 58% of the snaps. And last week was his first over 60. It was 65, and I think it's going to continue to grow as they begin to trust him.
Yeah. The only Cowboys compliment I'll probably ever give is that they did make Dalton Schultz who he was for fantasy and who he is now getting paid as for the Texans. So
Yeah.
there's some
It's kind of like the Austin Hooper.
there's some validation with
Yeah.
Ferguson.
There you go.
All right.
I think it's your turn now.
All right. So if keeping on the same track that I spoke about before for some running back depth, I think this past weekend showed that Baltimore is a running team. They're not a stretch the field team. They're a let's get the ball around the line of scrimmage type of team, which is why Zay Flowers is really popping off. Zay Flowers is already rostered. I'm not bringing up Zay Flowers. What I will say is that 12 significant touches went to Melvin Gordon.
That was something I had on my list.
The 30-year-old back had 12 significant touches for 55 total yards, and there was no Justice Hill. I don't know that if he was if he was a healthy scratch or if there was something lingering with him, but Gordon essentially split the touches with the Gus Bus.
And the Gus Bus is concussed.
And he is concussed. So you do have Melvin Gordon now. Probably looking at the lion's share in that backfield. He's done it before. It is surprising to see 55 all-purpose yards from a guy who essentially hasn't been a factor in 2 years. So, I mean, I think that's probably pretty positive to say for him, to say that he stayed in great game shape and kept up on film. And, going forward, again, you need depth on your bench going into your playoffs later in the season.
Hell yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a serviceable back. I agree.
Probably one of the best memes too of him looking at Russell Wilson when they're both on the Broncos. You know the one I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, I can't explain it because then it's not funny.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
All right, my
you
turn.
can try, and that would be funny for us.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to ask you guys a question. What? Okay. What?
No, go
Okay,
ahead.
my turn. All right, so what if I told you guys, it's not an infomercial. What if I told you there was a wide receiver, right, on the number 2 offense in the NFL right now, right, that is rostered on only 0.7 teams per ESPN as we stand here, okay? Last year led his team in receptions and just had the number 2 wideout on his team go down for the season. What would you say to do with that guy? Would you say pick him up?
Say
on.
bullshit. That can't happen.
I'd say that's Mr. Joshua Palmer, and you need to pick him up. He led that team with 72 receptions last year. Mike Williams is out for the season. Number 2 scoring offense in the league right now, right behind Miami, and they're going to keep tossing the rock around. Quentin Johnson, who I know you were thinking about mentioning, averaging under 2 catches a game, 26 yards in 3 games.
Yeah.
So they're going to bring him along, but Mike Palmer's going to step right in, knows the offense, has the trust of the quarterback, and they're going to keep throwing the ball.
Did you say Mike Palmer?
Quentin Johnston.
I thought I said Joshua Palmer.
You did the first time.
And then I said Mike Palmer.
Then you said
Yeah.
Mike Palmer.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
we can-
his
you
middle.
confuse
That's
Mike
his middle
Williams.
name.
We can
Confuse him and Mike
That's his
Williams.
middle name.
We can fix that in post. It's okay.
No, we can leave it in.
No, we can't.
I like to leave it in.
So Sam Howell was going to be my first weekly waiver candidate, but then he had a stinker against Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm saying if you really need a quarterback that you think you can roster for the entire year, unlike like Winston, who Carr will be back, I think Sam Howell is actually pretty viable. He did pretty well in his first 2 weeks, and I think the Commanders in general are a little surprising, and I think Sam Howell is worth the nod. So if you need the quarterback and you're looking to drop a quarterback, it's either CJ Stroud or it's Sam Howell for me. Those are the two.
That's true. You know what you just made me think of though?
What did I make?
What, like something that's surprising because it kind of goes to something you said earlier and then something you said way earlier in the year. The Jags should probably start tanking for Caleb, right?
The Jags should
think?
start throwing
What
the
say
damn
you?
ball to Ridley.
What say
Yeah.
you, sir?
Hey, there are some teams that should tank for Caleb, and that is not one of the teams.
Yeah.
Okay,
The prince
just
will right the
saying.
ship.
Okay.
He will get the realm back.
I tell you what, man, Sam
They
Howell.
got blown out at home by the Texans. Just saying.
Yeah, but the Texans actually have beat the Jags like the last 7 times in a row or something like that.
So they're the same old Jags, like I said.
Or maybe it's the same old Texans against the Jags.
I don't think I've seen a worse. I was struggling during that game against Buffalo to remember when I saw a worse quarterbacking performance
Sam
Zach
Howell?
Wilson.
than but
I
I wasn't
think
watching
Nathan
that
Peterman-
game.
Nathan
I wasn't
Peterman holds
watching
it.
that game. Sam Howell looked like
Yeah.
he threw a interception to a on-rushing defensive tackle.
Oh, yeah,
I
I've
don't
seen
think I've
that.
ever seen.
No, I've seen that.
seen it, but very rare. And it was so square in his hands. It was like a handoff.
That dude's got hops, though. I mean, to be fair, he got up for that ball.
It was ridiculous, though.
But all this quarterback talk at transitioning, I mean, and you're saying terrible performances. Have you not watched an Atlanta game? Desmond Ridder looks absolute trash.
He looked good.
Turn it around and go for Caleb.
first.
No, man, you need to. They have to turn to Taylor Heineke.
Yes,
here at
yes.
some
All right,
point, man.
that being said, though, can we lock in Broncos?
As a bad team?
No, as winners this week. Can we lock them in?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready. Let's do a group parlay.
The board.
Hey, let's go on Thrive.
I mean,
let's
you
all
would
pick
take
a
them this
player.
week, right?
No, I'm not taking the Broncos this week.
Do you? How upset though would you be?
Don't you
if they,
want them to win at this
if the
point?
Broncos throttle the Bears?
They're not going to
He
throttle
quits.
them.
The Bears
You gotta quit.
The Bears could use a
If
guy
the
like
Broncos
Roquan
throttle the
Smith.
Bears this week, you gotta quit for the season.
We get to pick your team.
Oh.
I mean, for crying
What
out
is
loud,
throttle?
You're a Browns fan. You're a Giants fan. All your best years are behind you. You're an Eagles fan.
Go Birds.
No, Eagles suck.
Hey,
Oh, look,
see,
good.
you know what that is?
Yeah, I know. It's
Okay.
4 championships. You know what we have?
Back in
We
my
have
day.
9.
Those don't. I
we
have
have
some. We
9.
have some of those too, bud.
It's called history. Yeah, you have 8. You're in second place. You're tied with Cleveland with 8 championships.
What?
Congratulations.
Is that with Super Bowls?
They're
Yeah.
like,
Super Bowls count as 2.
hey,
You win
kids.
both leagues. You
They're
win
1.25.
You win your league and then you win both leagues. So it actually
That's
is
the
2.
same thing that happened back in the day.
No, you won one league back in the day. No.
You're like, hey, kids.
Yeah, you just won the NFL. Now you win the NFL and then you win the AFL. You're winning both of them.
That guy in the Manning cast
If you're
won me
counting
2
the
Super
championship,
Bowls.
Super Bowls count as 2.
You get no vote here. Philly's been relevant for
Yeah.
6 days for crying
Well,
out
6
loud.
days. Not
Fucking
true.
You got
Your team
Philly's
was
good. Philly's good, but you guys got to get some hardware. I mean, come on.
But we have appearances.
Just saying.
We have the
You got to solidify it.
2017
doesn't
is-
mean anything if you don't. If you want to be the Bills,
2017 is falling behind now.
Congratulations
but
on your
we're still in the heat.
participation trophies.
yeah, but we've discussed it was awesome. I mean, it's great. Your team won the Super Bowl. I'm not trying to poo-poo that, but what was the regime? What was the memories? It's a fluky thing.
Are you kidding me?
I'm saying it wasn't like it
candidate
wasn't
goes
you're not-
down,
well, yeah,
backup goes
all right,
in.
You're not getting
that
what I'm
team.
saying.
That team was great all around the
You
board. And they
don't-
beat Tom Brady's
You
dynasty.
don't have
That's the best thing they
and
got
the
going
Philly
for them.
special.
like
Beat
when
the-
Dallas
beat Brady.
won, right? They had the years, they had the era. You don't have an era there. You just have a fluke Super Bowl.
that was a Cinderella story of a Super
That's
Bowl.
true. I'm saying it's like
No,
when
it
the
was
Bucks
great.
won a Super Bowl. I mean, even the Bucks, they created Tampa too, so that was something.
Yeah,
cool.
but it wasn't a fluke though.
like the Rams, The Rams won a Super Bowl,
This
and then
just
that was
in.
it.
Tom Brady signed with the Jet.
That would be great.
I'm trying to get.
That'd be so. I'd be so happy.
Oh, yeah, that would be amazing.
Just
I was
for
trying
like
to-
the just
I was trying to
to,
pull
as
it
a
down.
fan, it would be good.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, yeah, do your thing. Sorry.
So we're starting a new segment.
Go
and
Turds.
I think we're gonna call it. We called it, where we're just gonna throw out a very specific prediction or maybe a hot take or something like that that you can come back and watch after it happened because these are 100% definitely happening. I can start if we want. Rocky, I don't know if you have
gotta
yours.
decide
No, I'm
what
gonna
mine
let
is
you,
right
yeah.
now.
So the Packers have desperately missed Aaron Jones. He plays in prime time on Thursday night, and Aaron Jones is having 2 touchdowns against the Detroit Lions.
2 TDs for Aaron Jones.
I
Okay.
like that because I have Aaron Jones everywhere on my teams, and
Hey,
the
I did this for you, Mark.
The fact that he has been injured has definitely been hindering my squads because I have him as my RB3 and my RB4 across the board, and I have desperately been wanting him back in my lineups.
Feeling on that, if Austin Eckler played last week, I'd be 3-0 in my leagues instead of 2-1.
Eckler's another one I have everywhere too.
Eckler killed me on two teams.
Oh,
I
man,
lost.
that's
He's on like Yahoo Sports, like, don't worry, guys, I'm coming back. I know you need me. I'm like, well, then do it.
Who said that?
Don't talk
Austin
about
Eckler
it,
did.
be about it.
He's on Yahoo Sports with his own fantasy segment, and he's talking about his own hamstring. I'm like, what kind of meta like bullshit is this? Like, I don't want to see this. I want to see you play. God dang it.
I'll take it. I need him. So, okay, I got mine real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go
you're
right
okay with
ahead.
that.
What the hell I'm doing.
I am calling this, and I'm saying that Evan Ingram is a must start this week. I think he's going to have a monster game
I want some numbers.
against the Falcons.
I want some numbers, buddy.
I think he's going to be a top 3 tight ends. And in fact, he is the number 3 tight end in my listing this week. I think he's going to score a touchdown and have at least 60 yards.
There we go.
service-
Numbers, that's what we want.
The service strikes again.
We love numbers on the show. We love going big. We love going bold. And here's one that I'm going to tell you about. Mr. Davante Adams is going to join the elusive 300 Club. He is going to challenge Flipper Anderson's 336 record this week against the Chargers. The Chargers just allowed a big game for Jefferson. Some other big passing yardage for Addison, Hawkinson, Osborne, all of those guys. Chargers secondary is not it. I think the way we saw Garoppolo finally utilize Davante Adams this past week, I think Davante's in for a big game. I'm guaranteeing at least 15 targets. I think he's going to go very big. I think he's going to put up 200-plus yards, but I'm going to call the 300 and 2 scores from Davante Adams.
That's a big call right there.
All right, Bryce Young back from injury, seeing the Minnesota Vikings, goes for over 250, 2 touchdowns.
All right. Sounds good.
You don't think he hasn't thrown for 200 yet? So.
Both go to Miles Sanders.
No, I think one goes to Thielen for sure.
Hook down a Thielen.
And
I tell you what,
DJ Chark.
Thielen looks good. I picked him up in a couple leagues, and man, he's getting
gotta
fed
think
the
for
ball.
Thielen.
I
got
do.
a feeling.
Yeah,
You
we
know
got
how
a
I
feeling.
feel.
Yeah.
You want me to sing? I'll
No, I
sing.
don't want you to say.
DJ Chark looks like he turned back the clock, too.
Don't do that. No.
Hooked on a feeling.
feeling.
Bum, ba, da,
Yeah.
ba.
See, he did this is a friend here.
Hee hee hee.
He don't let me down.
Hey guys, that's the show. This has been Guys on Sports. Tune in next week. Please go on Chalkboard. Join us there. The link is in the bio. We answer all your fantasy questions 24/7. We've got start sits. We've got prop picks. We've got spread picks. We've got fantasy cheat sheets. It's all there for you for free, and it helps us out. So please do that. Like, comment, subscribe on this YouTube video. You can find us on all of your socials, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Listen to us on Spotify and hopefully Apple Podcasts one day. Join us live on TikTok Sunday mornings from around 11 till the game start at 1 o'clock. We're going to help you with Q&As there as well. We love you. Thank you, and goodbye.